Have you ever heard of a royal smuggler? It sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood movie, but believe it or not, a real-life British princess once risked an international incident for a taste of her favorite forbidden spirit. This isn't just any royal, it's Princess Margaret, Queen Elizabeth II's younger, more rebellious sister. Today, we're diving into the untold story of how and why Princess Margaret became an unlikely rum runner, smuggling a special Caribbean rum that was banned in the United Kingdom. To understand this wild tale, we first need to understand the princess herself. Princess Margaret was the Diana of her day, a glamorous, witty, and often controversial figure who lived in the shadow of her older sister, the future queen. While Elizabeth was groomed for duty and solemn responsibility, Margaret was the life of the party. She was a fashion icon, a patron of the arts, and was known for her sharp tongue and love for a good time. Her circle of friends included artists, actors, and rock stars, a far cry from the stuffy courtiers her sister dealt with. She smoked, she drank, and she loved to dance the night away. In a world of rigid royal protocol, Margaret craved freedom and a life less ordinary. This rebellious streak and her thirst for excitement are key to understanding why she would do something as audacious as smuggling. The story begins in the 1950s, a time when Princess Margaret was one of the most famous women in the world. Her every move was scrutinized by the press. It was during this period that she fell in love with the Caribbean, particularly the island of Mustique. She was gifted a 10-acre plot of land there as a wedding present in 1960. Mustique became her personal paradise, a place where she could escape the prying eyes of the British media and truly be herself. She built a stunning villa called Les Jolies and spent months there each year, hosting legendary parties for her celebrity friends like Mick Jagger and David Bowie. It was on one of these Caribbean escapes, specifically on the island of Trinidad, that she discovered something truly special. This wasn't just any rum, it was a local Trinidadian rum, so potent and so high in alcohol content that it was illegal to export. We're talking about a spirit rumored to be over 150 proof, far stronger than anything you could buy off the shelf back in Britain. For a connoisseur of fine drinks like Margaret, this was the ultimate prize. It was raw, powerful, and uniquely Caribbean, a world away from the refined gins and whiskies served at Buckingham Palace. She fell in love with its intense flavor and the fiery kick it delivered. But there was a major problem. British customs laws strictly prohibited the importation of spirits that strong. It was considered dangerous and was not for public sale. So, what's a princess to do when her favorite drink is banned back home? If you're Princess Margaret, you don't just accept it. You find a way around the rules. This is where the story takes a turn from a simple holiday preference to an act of royal defiance. Margaret couldn't just pack a few bottles in her suitcase. As a member of the royal family, her luggage was subject to inspection, and being caught smuggling would create a massive scandal. It would be a diplomatic nightmare and a stain on the monarchy. The headlines would be brutal. Princess breaks law for booze. The Queen would be furious, and the government would be deeply embarrassed. The risks were incredibly high, not just for her reputation, but for the entire royal families. This is where her clever, and frankly, quite cunning plan came into play. Princess Margaret realized she had a unique advantage: diplomatic immunity. Royal diplomatic pouches, which are used to transport official documents and correspondence between countries, are protected by international law. They cannot be opened or seized by customs officials. It's a privilege reserved for sovereign states to conduct their affairs securely. Margaret saw an opportunity. She allegedly began using these diplomatic bags, meant for state secrets and official papers. to transport her precious high-proof Trinidadian rum back to Kensington Palace. Imagine the scene. A sealed bag, bearing the royal crest, arriving in London. Customs officials would see it and, bound by protocol, wave it through without a second thought. They believed they were handling sensitive government materials, but inside, nestled among whatever official papers might have been there, were bottles of a rum so strong it could probably strip paint. It was the perfect crime. No one would dare question a diplomatic pouch, especially one belonging to the Queen's sister. This went on for years. Every time she returned from the Caribbean, a special delivery would follow. Her friends in London would speak in hushed, amused tones about the special stuff she'd bring back, a fiery spirit that became the stuff of legend in her social circle. But why? Why would she take such a monumental risk? It wasn't just about the drink itself. For Margaret, this act of smuggling was a form of rebellion. It was a secret act of defiance against the rigid system that controlled her life. In every other aspect, she was bound by protocol, tradition, and the expectations of the crown. She couldn't marry the man she first loved, Peter Townsend, because he was a divorce. Her public duties were scripted, her speeches vetted, but in this one small, private way, she was in complete control. She was outsmarting the very system that constrained her. The rum was more than just a beverage. It was a symbol of her independence, a taste of the freedom she found in the Caribbean. It was a connection to her personal paradise, a place where she wasn't just Her Royal Highness, but simply Margaret. Furthermore, it was an adventure. Margaret had a mischievous side, and the thrill of getting away with something so audacious must have been exhilarating. It was her secret, a story she could share with her closest friends, adding to her mystique as the rebel princess. It was a game she played with the establishment, and she was winning. Each successful shipment was a small victory, a confirmation that she could still bend the rules and live life on her own terms, at least behind the closed doors of her palace apartment. This wasn't about addiction. It was about autonomy. It was her way of carving out a piece of her life that was entirely her own, untouched by royal duty. Over time, the legend of Princess Margaret's rum grew. While never publicly confirmed by the palace, of course, the story has been corroborated by numerous friends and biographers. It paints a picture of a complex woman, caught between two worlds. On one hand, she was a dedicated member of the royal family who carried out her duties. On the other, she was a free spirit who longed for a life of her own making. The smuggled rum represents the perfect intersection of these two identities, using the privilege of her royal status to indulge her rebellious, private desires. It's a story that reveals so much about her character, her wit, her daring, and her deep-seated need to push against the boundaries that defined her existence. So, the next time you think of the British royal family, don't just picture crowns and castles. Remember the tale of the party princess who became a rum runner, risking a global scandal for a taste of freedom from a bottle. It's a reminder that even behind the palace walls, human desires for adventure and a little bit of rebellion can lead to the most extraordinary stories. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this glimpse into a lesser-known royal secret, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more hidden histories. Let us know in the comments what you think about Princess Margaret's audacious plan. See you next time.